on the agenda here, first item is to approve the minutes from the September 9th, 2025 board meeting. Do I have a motion for that? Okay, first from Dan and a second from Andrew. And any discussion? Okay, all in favor? One, two, and Jonathan. Okay, he's up, got it, great. So it's 4-0-0. Next item is approve the agenda for September 23rd, tonight's board meeting. A motion for that? Okay, we'll give it to Andrew first and Dan second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? And Jonathan's got the yellow thumb up there, says 4-0-0. And we are underway.
We should give you a black and white checkered flag.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is resident remarks. Are there anybody here anybody here in the live audience for resident remarks? No, okay. Anybody online for resident remarks, please raise your hand, indicate to us. I don't see anybody online for resident remarks. Okay. And new business here, the first item of new business is the Howard County Local Health Improvement Coalition presentation from Stephanie Foster, the Community Engagement Coordinator. And Stephanie.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Stephanie. Yes, we're hear you fine.
All righty. Thank you for having me. My colleague, co-worker, Ashton Jordan, better known as AJ, is also on the line. So we appreciate you all having us tonight and giving this opportunity to let you know more about the Howard County Local Health Improvement Coalition and how we may be able to help promote and get resources out for the people and residents in Oakland Mills. Okay. I'm going to share my screen so I can start the presentation. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
No, we can't.
Oh.
That's the agenda.
I was
gonna say.
the agenda, you put up the agenda?
That's her screen.
Yeah, but now I got the slides. You don't see the slides?
We do not.
No, we do not see the slides.
All right. Let me
Zoom, right?
She's got the agenda.
Yeah, sometimes you have to like stop sharing then.
Yeah, stop share, then share, make sure you have the application. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's try this again.
Stephanie, you want me to pull up the oh, never mind.
Okay.
There we go.
There
Can
we
you
go.
see now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sorry about that. You know how technology can be. Okay, so as was stated, my name is Stephanie Foster. I am one of the community engagement coordinators for the Howard County Local Health Improvement Coalition, also known as LHIC. I lead two of our work groups. One of them is the Growing Healthy Families work group, which promotes healthy beginnings for families, improve maternal health in infants, and promote resources for healthy families. The other work group I lead is the Healthy Minds and Suicide Prevention Coalition, which brings together mental health professionals, educators, and advocates and community organizations dedicated to supporting mental wellness and preventing suicide. We also provide a safe place and supportive atmosphere where residents can engage in difficult but necessary conversations about behavioral and mental health challenges. Before I go into the slides, I will ask AJ to introduce himself as well.
Thank you, Stephanie. Well, hello everyone. Ashton Jordan. I apologize I can't be on screen tonight. I'm having some just some tech issues. You all know how it is. But my name is Ashton Jordan. Short, you can go. I'm not short. Excuse me. It's late. For sure, you can call me AJ. Yeah, so as Stephanie mentioned, we're two of the community engagement coordinators for the Howard County Local Health Improvement Coalition. She leads two of our work groups. I lead two others. The two that I lead are the Healthy Lifestyle Work Group. That work group focuses on promoting physical activity, improving food access, and essentially addressing chronic disease, kind of a large umbrella for that work group. And then the second work group I coordinate is the Community Health Worker Learning Collaborative, which if you all don't know, our community health workers, they are out and about in the community and they do a lot of work. So our learning collaborative is an opportunity for CHWs and community-based organizations to kind of share those best practices for CHW engagement and utilization in the community. So thank you all for inviting us here, and back to you, Steph.
All right, thank you, AJ, for that. So let's want to start what our mission is. Our mission at the Howard County Local Health Improvement Coalition is to achieve health equity and identify and reduce health disparities for all in Howard County. Our vision is that all community members in Howard County have an equitable opportunity to achieve health and wellness. Our values are evidence-based. All partners have a voice and inclusive of Howard County's diverse community, collaboration with our community partners, transparency. And we also just updated our bylaws back in July, and we just approved our new strategic plan for FY 26 and 28. This is our organizational chart. We have two co-chairs. The first is Dr. Maura Rossman, who is the health officer at the Howard County Health Department. The other co-chair is Jeanette Nazarian, Dr. Jeanette Nazarian, Vice President of the Johns Hopkins Howard County Medical Center. Our director at LHIC is Maribeth Rivera Brute. And as you know, AJ and myself are the community engagement coordinators for LHIC, and also Maria Jose, who is the CHW team lead, and also our wonderful community health workers. Our priorities, our first is Healthy Beginnings, which promotes healthy lifestyle activities related to prevention and care to improve maternal, infant, and family health. The second is Healthy Living, which includes activities for disease prevention through improved access to healthy foods, health education, safe physical activity opportunities, and healthcare. And the last is Healthy Minds, which we focus on activities for social engagement to support mental wellness and behavioral health. As AJ and I discussed, these are the names of our work groups. Like I said, for Healthy Beginnings, our work group is Growing Healthy Families Work Group, which promotes and gives resources out for improving maternal health and health and wellness for children and their families in Howard County. The other is the Healthy Lifestyle Work Group, which promotes physical activities and access to healthy food and health care. And the Healthy Minds and Suicide Prevention Coalition, which addresses people who are suffering from mental and behavioral health challenges and to prevent suicide. And last but not least, we have our Community Health Worker Collaborative, which brings together people in the community to discuss issues that are going on, and our community health workers are in the field. They are assisting residents with any type of challenges they may be having or facing at that time. This is more information about our community health worker program. This encourages health and wellness by helping people in their communities engage in healthy behaviors. The CHWs at the health department may be available to help supporting learning to community members with chronic disease and other health needs, encouraging healthy lifestyle choices for families, pregnant and postpartum birthing people and older adults, and or making referrals to community resources and social services. our engagement throughout the community. We have a quarterly full coalition meeting that takes place January, April, July, and our next meeting will be October 16th. They're hybrid, so you can either attend via Zoom or attend in person at the health department. Again, we have our meetings for our work groups. Some are every other month, some are held quarterly. We have our website that has a list of resources and calendar of events throughout the year. AJ takes care of our social media platforms and Facebook and Instagram. We also have newsletters, our monthly digest, the action alert, and our biweekly member resources are posted on our website. The community outreach and place-based initiatives. And if you already have requested us to be at your fall harvest event next weekend. So I will be there. So you already know about what you need to do about submitting the form to request our presence at your events. These are a list of our communications. This is our website. You can go and see the latest digest on the website. Also, the the member action alerts and the member resources and and this is our taglines for our Facebook and Instagram accounts. Our membership is free and open to all who live and work in Howard County. Right now, our current membership, I did it yesterday, so we are now at 695 individual members of LHIC, and we have close to 250 organizational members at this time. And this is the link for if you would like to join and be members of LHIC, so you can get all the resources and information about initiatives that are taking place at the health department and what our community members have to offer residents in Howard County. And this is our Care App resource. Care App is a tool that you can you either download the app on Apple, the Apple Store or Google Play Store, or log on to findacresources.org. You go on, download the app or go to the website, enter your zip code, and put in any topic that you are looking for resources. So whether it be housing, whether it be transportation, if you need assistance with people who have disabilities, you put your zip code, you put in the topic, and it will give you a list of providers and programs that people in the resident in the area can take advantage of. Does anybody have any questions? 'Cause I think that's my last slide. Yeah.
Any questions, comments?
Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I have a quick question. We used to have an initiative in Howard County called Healthy Howard. Is this an extension of that, or has this replaced that, or?
AJ's been here longer than me. Can you?
Yeah. So yeah,
Pop quiz.
the Howard County Local Health Improvement Coalition is its own thing. It's like its own entity. So it was formed in 2012. Maryland has LHICs in different jurisdictions throughout the state. And so in Howard County, the LHIC for Howard County, we're located inside the health department. So we're technically an MDH entity. So, if you want us to, talk to, some of those upper departments, let us know, right? But we work outside or inside the health department. But I cannot say what specifically Healthy Howard was. That may have been before I was here. But I can say that is not we did not come from that.
So I have another question, if it's okay, Bill. So my next question is, with all of there's a lot of stuff going on with CDC and vaccines and all that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, but a lot of states many states on the East Coast are forming their own, I don't want to call it a CDC yet, because it's not actually a CDC, but they're, to make sure that folks can still get vaccinated, that kids are getting vaccinated, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just wondering if that is is that education and making sure we're part of that, is that part of your mission?
So I can still speak on that. When it comes to directives from federal directives. As of right, we adhere to any directives we get. But as of right now, we have not stopped any giving out of vaccines that we have. I do know that we're actually going to be promoting our flu shot. We'll be putting that on our social very soon. So if you know anyone who needs a flu shot, I believe it's free. It's the free stuff, and I believe it's free at the health department. So you can get a free flu shot at the health department. So when it comes to things like that, we understand the news exists. Our job is technically not to battle the news. Our job is to make sure that Howard County residents have access to the resources, materials, supports, and services that they need. And so that's what we ensure.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah,
I-
let's, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna ask another question. One of the residents online wanted to know if your group provides Narcan training.
Yes.
Go ahead, Steph.
Yes, I used to work for the Bureau of Behavioral Health. So, the answer to that question, we at LHIC don't provide it, but we can put you in contact with OPR, which is the opioid response program, and I can put you in contact with the person to get training, and you can also take the training online on our website. And if you want me, I can send you all the link to that.
That would be great. If you could send it to my the manager email.
Okay. Yes.
And then I have a question myself. So how is this information promoted into our schools? How do they like one more time, do your community workers, do they go to the schools and promote? So like people, parents would know about the CARE app, et cetera, things like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, AJ.
So when it comes to the schools, we have quite a few different partners who actually, right, are employees with HCPSS. Off the top of my head, I can say Shannon Blount. She's been a member of the LHIC for quite some time, and she attends a lot of our meetings. She's up to date. We actually just we're kind of wrapping up we're in the midst of a diabetes SNAP communications campaign. We got some grant money from MDH to do some promotions for pre-diabetes and diabetes tests, as well as promoting SNAP benefits. And so Shannon, when I say last week, just promoted it to work group members. Hey, if you want to request, you can. She was one of the first ones to request. So she's quite active. So when it comes to getting things to the schools, she's been very helpful with that. Also, I can't get the name off the top of my head right now, so I apologize for that. But the HCPSS Community News and Programs, that kind of site where you can put events up there, whatnot. So whenever the LHIC has some sort of initiative, or like right now we have Walktober, that's on the HCPSS Community News and Programs. So the different parents, different teachers, principals, students, even right, anybody who may be seeing events on the HCPSS Community News and Programs site. They'll come across our Walktober. They may come across a diabetes prevention class, a chronic disease prevention class, Narcan training, anything like that. They may come across these different resources that pertain to our priority on their website. So when it comes to your question, how we get it to the schools, as of right now, we may not be specifically in the schools to credit our CHWs. They're out in the community. So if they do have children, they may be a part of PTOs or PTAs. It's not a requirement by us. What we do is we partner with the different HCPSS employees, the folks who are essentially doing the program managers and whatnot. That's who we partner with to make sure that our programs are getting to them, so they're getting it to you all. I hope that answers your question.
It does, thank you, thank you.
I've seen CARE app in, I don't remember which schools, but school newsletters or PTA newsletters, so they're getting some of it out.
Well, that's good to hear.
Careb's really cool. Careb's really
Yeah.
cool. So you can put your zip code in, and you can, when I say a plethora of information, and then we've also learned that it's not specific to Howard County. You know, if someone's in DC, maybe or even in Virginia, they can put in that zip code and they can again see those resources specific to them. So it's been a way for us to let community members know that, hey, if you have a family member, right, there are caretakers who are taking care of folks here in Maryland, but also in other places. And so they're able to give that information to them. Hey, here's Care App, so that you can get something close to home if I'm unable to get to you. Like we've been able to just make sure that that Care App gets utilized. It's out there. It's a really powerful tool.
Right, thank you.
Anybody else? No, well, Stephanie and AJ, thank you so much for the presentation. and educating us and helping to keep us healthy. Thank you.
Thank you. And I put the link for the opioid overdose response program. And if you click on that link and go to the bottom of the page, you'll see the link to take the online Narcan training.
Oh, okay.
And once you take that training, it gives you information on who to contact at the Bureau of Behavioral Health. So you can go pick up, I think they give you two packets of Narcan.
Okay, great.
Well, thank you very much, Steph and AJ.
Thank you for having us. Have a good evening.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you. Okay, next item, the Oak Mills Fall Festival update. Amy Carpenter, Events and Administrative Coordinator.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring up the Fall Festival website. We can go through that as I'm getting my report. Everyone else. Okay, Firefox. It's the right one. I'm gonna navigate over. So hopefully, this is Firefox, it's different from, no, it's the Google search, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna put in Oakland, no, maybe I'm not, I don't know, here's the right place. Oakland, okay, so I gotta concentrate here. Mills Fall Festival. So when that comes up, so in my other Google thing, no, you can't have my location. So, and this one, the oaklandmills.org, our website comes up first. And my own Chrome thing, the Wix site actually comes up. The Wix site is actually our Fall Festival website specific for the Fall Festival. So this is the homepage that you'll come to, tells you all the general information, and I put our flyer on there this time, so you can see it right on the homepage. So first of all, vendors, I'm gonna take this, just make sure I don't miss anything. So this is our vendors page. So I just got all our vendors up today. And so you can kind of see, we have 39 officially right now. We have 2 more that we're waiting on payment for. When you go to one of these, let me find one. Like here's the Department of Constituent Services. You can click on that and hopefully go to their website if I have the right one on there. I was trying to check it today. And you can see about the different, and sometimes it's socials. Linktree is actually a fun website that people will put like all of their socials, their websites, everything on that. So if you click on it, then you'll go there and you'll get to see all of their places to go to, in case you're wondering what that is. So we have actually, it is homecoming weekend. So I feel like we're very fortunate that a lot of school organizations are participating. Fine Arts Boosters are on there. So yeah, so we have quite a good lineup of vendors. And the bike corral will be there, Yards Alive, plant giveaway, we'll have that. The OMHS food pantry is going to be accepting donations at the festival, and we'll have a table. So if anybody wants to bring donations, they can bring it for that. I'm trying to make sure that's promoted and people know about it. And also we'll have a lot of schools participating, like I said. So let's go over to entertainment. So this is our, oh, look at that, it went over. That's funny.
I think Jonathan has a question.
You gotta love Wix. It's easy to use, but sometimes it doesn't quite go. So we're going to start off as usual with the OMHS bands, and the band and the Palms are joining. Because it is a busy weekend, we don't have as many of the band members, maybe more like the pep band, but they'll still be there. We have Rocknoceros, which is their favorite. They're coming back for the kids. School of Rock is back again. That's School of Rock's house band. So those are teenagers who do an awesome job. I love them. And then also the Teen Center is going to offer line dancing classes for all ages over at the Teen Center. Inside, we'll have some signs. They'll have 2 classes at 12:30 and 1:15. One of them has to be during one of the performances, but that'll be really fun. I want to do that myself, but I don't know if I'll have time to get over there. And then Soltet is back. They it's been a few years, but they have played before and they're really awesome. So they will be back from 1:45 to 2:45. And remember today, this year, we're only having the festival go until 3 p.m. instead of 4 p.m. because people are usually wrapping up around 3 anyway. So
Hey,
we've
can you have
adjusted
a
our,
quick question up
Yeah.
there from Jonathan?
I don't know how to. if he has-
He's gonna,
Just unmute.
yeah, it's on mute and then there he is.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, not a question. For some reason, when Amy started sharing, the sound from the room has gone down to almost nothing.
ah,
That's weird.
Well, that's not gonna do anything.
Once in a while, I noticed that online, like the sound will cut out for like 20 seconds or so and then come back in. I think it's just random, actually.
But that's the TV sound. That's
Okay.
not the this sound.
Hmm.
So is it still quiet?
Yeah, since you started sharing, I can barely hear the room.
Oh, wow, that's
interesting. Maybe it switches
Can
to
you
the
move,
mic.
can you move the microphone closer to me? That's not the
That-
microphone.
No, recording.
I'm sorry, record.
Hey guys, this is Ashley. Jonathan, I can hear him pretty loud back here. On my,
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Maybe it's something with me. I'm gonna leave and come back. I'm not sure what else to do.
Okay, well, we moved the microphone over near me because sometimes it can get kind of quiet with the microphone. I'm kind of far away.
No,
All
no,
right, so
it's
that's-
everyone. It's the whole room. Let me just pop out for a second and pop back in and see if that fixes it.
Okay. But I'm gonna keep going. All right, for our food, I'm excited about our food. I'm always excited. How much can I eat? So Stevens Forest Hot Dog Stand is back. So please support them because the PTA gets all the proceeds. We have a Mexican food truck. And we have a retro grill, which I'm also really excited about. Yeah, and Mike's Gelato. And the cookie guy, Mike's Homemade from the Heart. He's back this year too. So I'm very, very excited about all of those. I'm probably gonna have my husband buy some stuff and I'll buy some stuff and we'll share and I'll get to try everything. And then we have our children's area. We do have 2 16 and under vendors again this year, so that's exciting. They have tents, so they'll be in the tent area. And not in the children's area because we didn't have really enough space to make it so they could have shade. So we said they could have tents this year. So we have our children's crafts tent, which the Palms are going to help with again this year. We also have the Talbot Springs PTA doing face painting and fun kids crafts like they did last year. And that is my daughter's picture from when she was little. And we will have free small pumpkins for kids while supplies last. They do usually go pretty fast. And then again, I put the line dancing on here and make sure everybody knew about it. And then we also have, I'm going to go back to entertainment just to look at our lineup so you can see kind of timeline wise. So after the band plays at 11:15, we do have Sean McInnes, CEO and president of CA, coming to speak. We don't know about Howard County yet, if we'll have anybody from there, but we do at least have Sean. What I'm doing right now, I'm currently in the process of creating the layout map and doing all the last minute crunch stuff, which is a lot. And I'll be meeting with CA Open Space, who puts up the tents and our trash cans and helps with tables and all kinds of stuff. I'll be meeting with them with Brigida on Monday. Then also we can always use volunteers. We're always happy. You're welcome to come as board members to volunteer or just to come and enjoy the festival. The best time to be here is at the beginning. So you can hear the band play and with the officials speaking, and we love to have the board just be there, have a little photo op. I know that sounds bad, photo op, but it's kind of fun to have that picture every year with the board.
Did you put it on your dartboard?
Everybody has a dartboard in their office. So I won't name any names. So yeah, and you're welcome to wear your orange shirt if you want to that. I will be wearing my orange shirt as long as nothing happens to it, because you never know.
We'll wear the green version of that.
All right, so I will get out of the share and that is all I have. Any questions?
No, well done, Amy.
That's really good.
Yeah, looks fantastic.
You've done a great job.
Okay, thank you very much, Amy. Appreciate that. And next on the agenda is the Columbia Council Rep report. Karen?
I apologize, I wasn't paying attention and I put a chip in my mouth.
That's all right.
I'm not talking my mouth full here.
That's
but-
right. Normally Jonathan would be able to fill in time here with some kind of story and joke here, but I'm not that good at it.
Thank you. So, this Thursday, we have our board meeting. I don't know if any of you logged on to the town hall or not that we had. And so, if you guys are willing to give me some feedback on that, I would love to know what you thought of the town hall. We are gonna discuss it at the board meeting this Thursday. I thought the format was fine. One of the things that I like everything to be out in the open. I like sunlight on everything. So I thought the presentations were good. I like the idea that you could go out to a table and directly talk to some of the people who are in charge of these different departments. But I also really would prefer that everybody gets to hear what everybody thinks. So I was really hoping, like when they took questions from the audience and things like that. So that's my personal opinion. I don't know how you guys felt about the town hall. You're certainly welcome to share your feedback with me. So that's one thing that's gonna be on the agenda. The big thing that's gonna be on the agenda this Thursday is the ethics policy. And I sent an email out earlier tonight to some of my supporters because I'm very concerned about this ethics policy. I'm gonna try to do this from memory from what I had said to them. Is that the ethics policy, the changes that we're looking at are not really designed to make a better ethics policy. They're actually designed to keep one board member from doing certain things. And I'm gonna say that board member could possibly be me. So, for example, they want to prohibit board members. So right now, if I know somebody who's running in a different village, say Owen Brown, and I wanted to go support them, as a board member, I cannot publicly endorse them anyway. And I think that's fine. And I can't go door to door as a board member, and I don't have a problem with that. But I do think that I should be allowed, or any board member should be allowed, honestly, to work for a candidate, whether it's knocking doors, handing out literature, as long as you're not wearing your CA clothing, you're not promoting that you're a board member, things like that. I do think that you should be allowed to do that because I think it's free speech. And I think, while CA is a private company and they can curtail free speech. However, we are also governed by a homeowners association act, and the intent of that homeowners association act is to make things transparent to the homeowners. That's why the meetings have to be in public. You never do anything behind closed doors, which was why my comments about the town hall is that so if you were online, if you were watching the town hall online, you didn't attend in person, when people went out to the tables, you could no longer participate. Because everything was behind closed doors for you at that point. They didn't have video cameras out there. It wasn't Antiques Roadshow where they went from each table to hear what each person was saying, right? So I believe in that openness and transparency and free speech. And I think that the residents are paying a lot of money. When they bought their house, when you bought your house here in Columbia, you're paying a lot of money for that. And I think you deserve to know what's going on. And I think it's my responsibility to tell you. So that gets to another issue, is that I don't think that they like it when I talk about how they vote in my newsletter. So a lot of times I'll say exactly, what we're working on and how people voted. And that's the other thing, is they're saying in this ethics policy is you can't name people by name. And I will bring this up on Thursday at the board meeting, because in the minutes, it will give name by name how people voted, what was the motion, how people voted. So it's already in the meeting minutes. But if I were to put it in my newsletter, it might be considered an ethics violation. And so I think that's a little bit ridiculous. I think it's trying to silence people. I think it's trying to push things behind closed doors. And I just think that overall is a bad look for the Columbia Association. I don't think the board should be doing that. The next thing is if you have a violation, if you have an ethics violation, they want to start kicking board members off. They want to be able to kick you off the board. And if you look at the criteria that they've got in that policy, it's very nebulous. you could not say what the actual criteria was. There's a lot of sentences in there, but you could not actually specify what the criteria is. What they basically say is the board gets to decide what the criteria is for kicking you off, depending on what your violation is. So, the board did kick a member off a couple years ago. And I would say that the violation, I don't know if I'm allowed to speak about it or not, but I'll find out. The violation was not egregious. It wasn't something that, like, they weren't embezzling any money, they weren't revealing confidential information or anything like that. But because there were personality differences, there were disagreements in what this person wanted to accomplish versus what some of the other board members wanted to accomplish, they forced this person off the board. I am in a 3-person minority. This is an opportunity. This people in my position vulnerable to being kicked off the board. It becomes like the ethics policy is becoming like driving in Baltimore. If you drive in the city of Baltimore, you cannot drive down the street without violating a law. The police can literally pull you over for anything. And that's what they're looking to do here. They're looking to basically kick people off the board who don't agree with them. And they, you know, if it's a policy disagreement, I don't think that's a very good reason to go after somebody. It feels a lot like a witch hunt, and I'm not the only person they're going at. So those are some things. The other thing is, if you're going to start kicking people off the board, say there is an egregious ethics violation, it completely disenfranchises the villages. It cuts them out of the process. So you have voted for your Columbia Council representative. Your Columbia Council representative goes to that first CA board meeting, and the first thing that we do when we get there is vote ourselves to be members of the Columbia Association Board of Directors, right? There are only 10 members of the Columbia Association, and that is the Board of Directors. So they can kick you off the board, but you are still the Columbia Council rep. It's really up to your village. This is where I think that the policy, if you really want to remove, if someone has really egregious violations, then the village should be involved. At least the chair and vice chair of the village board should be notified of what's going on and give the village board the opportunity, because based on the charter, the way it exists right now, the only entities who really can remove a board member are the villages. And even though there's some disagreement on that, and I'm not a legal expert.
That's what I was gonna ask, have they actually like consulted legal about that?
Well, the general counsel at CA has weighed in. He believes that the board is well within its rights to kick a board member off the board, right? If you're embezzling money from CA, no board member can actually, in my personal opinion, there is not an opportunity for a board member to embezzle money. They are never working with the money. They're not writing checks. Hopefully they're not receiving checks, but there's not really an opportunity for them to embezzle money. There probably is, there may be opportunities to do other unethical things, like try to get your cousin hired, right? To be, you're trying to get a very personal benefit to yourself, to your family, a financial benefit from being on that board, right? I don't think that's been happening. I can say in this meeting, the existing board, and honestly, the boards for the past several years, not a single board member has any ethical violations. We don't have anybody with a single ethical violation. But I do think this is a way to silence board members who disagree and to try to remove them from the board of directors. So if you have the time to sign up for Resident Speak Out and give, and I'm not asking you to take my point of view. I would say go out and look at the packet, look at what's in there, read the ethics policy, and make your own decision. You guys are all smart, critical thinkers, and decide for yourselves. But I think the biggest part to me is just the disenfranchisement of villages and the curtailing of speech, I think, are dangerous. I don't think that's a good idea at all. So that's my update. I know that was kind of deep, and does anybody have any questions? Comments?
It's unfortunate that the Columbia Association is turning evil. I don't know exactly what to say. Like, I feel like if someone got kicked out just because they weren't liked, they could like sue the Columbia Association or.
Well, that is the whole thing, is that now that it makes the CA board of directors also at risk, because you could lawyer up. You could lawyer up and challenge them, and I do think that you'd have a shot at winning. Depending on what it You know, it depends is the ultimate answer for everything. And then our next meeting after this one is not until October, guys, the end of October, so we're into the dry season. So budgets are coming up, that's hugely important. And so I hope we'll talk more about that stuff, but,
I think that CA, we've had cases before where CA legal said, oh yeah, it's fine. When it wasn't, and the villages actually had to consult their own legal and say, no, actually it's not. So they come back like this, and that could be a situation where the villagers are gonna be like, you can't just do that, and
right.
could become a legal issue, which we would hate, but.
Yeah.
Karen, did you say there is a resident speak out this upcoming meeting?
Yeah, if you would like to be part of Resident Speak Out, so you always have to sign, so you can go online and sign up for Resident Speak Out. It's right there. I think if you look under, when you're on the CA homepage, if you look under governance, it'll say Resident Speak Out. You have to sign up by 5 PM on the Wednesday, the night before the meeting. So you have till tomorrow to sign up. You can do it virtually or you can come in person.
So I know they were talking about getting rid of residents speak out, but that hasn't happened yet, or.
That was the other thing they were trying to do, but luckily, a lot of residents really pushed back on it. I mean, that is where, you know.
Get voted out if you do that.
Well, it's, yeah,
Not you, I'm just saying, people that support it.
they really wanted to limit it, and there were several people last year who did vote to limit resident speak out when we had a crowd. Luckily, we had a majority vote to let people continue speaking. It was when we were going through the stuff with the village facilities. And I just think, you know, when you've got a crowd of people in front of you like that, that room was packed. You know, you don't wanna risk, let people speak, let them say what they wanna say, because like I said, the average annual charge, I think, is $1,300. And you have to pay that. You know, we had the renters in here talking about forming, renters, what did they call it? They were organizing a renters, what do they call it?
Tenant committee.
Tenant committee, thank you, tenant organization, because the landlord wasn't doing what they needed to do,
Mhm.
right? As a renter, you can form a tenants organization and you can start paying your rent into escrow as a group. You can legally do that. As a homeowner in Columbia or a lot owner, any one of these commercial properties, you cannot never pay your lien. If you stop paying that annual charge, CA can foreclose on your house. You know, they can come in and take it. Now, they've never done that to people who haven't been paying their lien, but that is an option for them. So say say everyone in Oakland Mills decides they're not gonna pay anymore, we could all be in a lot of trouble. So we don't have that option. The options that you have are your voice. But I'm really, you know, one of the things I'm really impressed by is how many people canceled their Disney this past week or so because of the free speech issue. And I'm like, so it shows that, you know, even on something like that, we can make a difference. So the people do still have power. So Jonathan, did you have a question?
Not a question, but a comment. You know, I think someone brought up the possibility of CA board members lawyering up. I would say that if it comes to it, and obviously this would have to be a matter of discussion, you know, for a village board, but I think there's also the potential for litigation from a village board. So I think if we do speak, because CA also seems to be having trouble separating what you say as a private citizen versus what you say as a member of of the board, you know, we should speak carefully, because the way I look at this, I understand we have elections, we all vote, and you know, a lot of us like to talk about whether this is you know, truly a democratic process, and you know, for better or for worse, the bottom line is we're all private corporations, so it isn't the same as voting in a government election, unfortunately, in this case. But what we all do have to do is sign fiduciary responsibility agreements. So, you know, one of the ways I look at this from the village perspective is there have been instances where we as a village have spent a lot of money for the sole purpose of getting a CA rep and therefore a CA board member elected, right? We have had contested elections where the only race is CA. So, you know, my thought is if the CA board can unilaterally reject our elected official, then they have also effectively either caused us to violate our fiduciary responsibility or are costing us a lot of money that, you know, that we shouldn't be on the hook for, because then what do we do next? And why do we continue to invest in these elections if, you know, who we invest into getting elected? I shouldn't say it as who we invest into getting elected, because we're not sponsoring a candidate, but our investment to get someone elected can be completely negated. And I think that's where, you know, as private corporations, we probably might have some legal standing. So, you know, ultimately, it might be something that we all want to explore. And unfortunately, we lost our attorney. Fortunately, we haven't needed an attorney. So I'm not even sure where we would go. But if it comes to it, I do think it's something that's worth discussing, so that you know, better to be prepared than unprepared. I hope we never need the knowledge we may glean from that consultation, but it would be better to have it before we're up against the wall and needing it immediately.
Mhm. Absolutely.
So that's it for me, Bill. Sorry to bring your house down.
No, that's important. It's important issues, okay? Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I wanted to just say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
one thing. No, it's okay. I was just thinking, and that's what I was looking up. I was looking up specifically in our bylaws, it addresses removal of officers, but it's very, you know, it's
Yeah.
very generic. But I couldn't see anything specifically in the CA one, but maybe I missed it. But also in our bylaws, in our addendums to the bylaws, which we have passed through when we have our elections, we've added, you know, removal of officer, and there have been reasons why an officer
Right.
may be removed, like a certain number of absences or no longer lives in the community, whatever those reasons are, but those were developed by the board, very specific reasons as to how one of the members of the board can be removed. So I feel like it's not that you can't ever remove an officer. There obviously, like you said, there are some reasons, but I feel like leaving it open-ended and leaving it as subjective as, and I just feel like that is, like you said, it's a very slippery slope to go down and could lead not only what Jonathan was saying, but also just in general. I mean, it's just not what you can't do that, because it's exactly what you said. It's okay, so now I'm afraid to speak out because I'm afraid you're gonna vote me off the board. Well, that doesn't, what do you now people, it's not an objective board. You're not really seeing different sides, being able to
Yeah,
express
workshop.
yourself. Yeah, you're,
Because it's when you're seeing different sides that you see different problems and how to like solve them. That's leadership. That's
Mhm.
Well,
And I think
hope
it's
that-
it's healthy for the board to disagree.
yeah.
I think this is another example of where village membership status versus CA membership status becomes a problem. Because if the CA board members are the only members of CA, then it makes it easier to do things like this. At least in Oakland Mills, because we had talked to the attorney about this, it requires a meeting of the members and a vote to remove a board member. The village board itself cannot do anything. We could call the meeting, you know, if we wanted to, we could call a meeting of the members, but we would still need a quorum of members to come out and vote, and a majority of them to vote to remove a board member. Or the members themselves, you know, a quorum of them would have to call for a meeting, and then we would have to hold a meeting, is my understanding. There's no equivalent with CA, and I think that's unfortunate, because I think it allows for exactly what we say shouldn't happen to have the possibility of happening.
And I think the charter is supposed to be like the ultimate document. So whatever if the bylaws and the charter disagree with each other for CA, the
Mhm.
charter wins out. And I have not seen anything in the charter either, Brigida, that says you can remove a board member, but I can go back and look again. It's been over a month since I looked at it the last time.
Okay, I'm gonna
But yeah.
vote too.
Well, thank you, Karen. Really appreciate it. And if we ever get to cross that bridge, members here present have already done a lot of homework preparation. Okay, village manager report, Brigida.
Okay, so I have a few things, and one of them isn't listed on here because I got it after the agenda was created. So last Thursday, our accountant came in and closed out the books, and in doing so, I have the first quarter of FY 26. But, in further looking over the, fourth quarter FY 25, there was one additional difference that was found. It is literally $10. I found
What line number is it, Brigitte?
it's line 15 in expenses.
Okay.
It is $15 difference, $15 more. Which in turn, of course, affects lines 28, 30, and then the net assets, because they're all adding. So because of that, I had to bring them back to you for a new vote, so I can resend them to CA. So that's the first order of business I have.
Do you want to transact that now or wait till the end?
That would be great.
Okay.
And make a motion to accept the revised financial statement.
I will second it. Okay, any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Got a thumb up.
And I got 400. And approved.
Okay, thank you very much. I promise you I will not bring that one back again.
Don't.
And then the next order of business is the first quarter of FY 26 financials, which, you'll notice there is no variance memo because it's the first quarter, so there is nothing that requires comments. But always when the accounting comes to close out the first quarter, we look at what we spent in the first quarter, and then we have to determine how each, budget line item will be spent for the following 3 quarters. So Debbie and I did that and looked at last year's numbers to kind of predict. So hopefully there won't be too much of a variance based on what our pattern tends to be for each quarter. But so those are ready to share or send to CA, and they are a little delayed, which CA audit office is aware of. I did make them aware. But they are ready to share, provided you don't have any questions and you approve them.
Okay, so do I hear motion to, correct me if I'm wrong here, Brigitte, to approve the first quarter of fiscal year 26 financials? Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
You got a
okay.
motion from me.
Yeah.
Got a motion from Andrew and a second from Dan. Any discussion? All in favor? 400 in favor. That's done.
okay. And lastly, I have my manager's report, and I do not have the audit final report yet. As soon as I receive it, I of course will be giving it to you. We are having a meeting for the allocation formula on October 1st. We've basically, Renee from River Hill, she's kind of running the committee as that village manager. And so she's requested from CA's finance office, basically all of our public information where our budget is posted, but just specifically so we can start the review process for the allocation formula. Last Tuesday, as myself, I just wanted to let you know, I attended the Horizon Foundation's Food Coalition Town Hall. And I went as myself, but I also, while I was there, it was a very good discussion, learned a lot of things, hoping to really apply them to help out Oakland Mills residents as needed. But I felt like one of the biggest things was getting the information out to the residents. And so that was one of the points that I brought up. And I did say that I felt that some of our, excuse me, the villages were underutilized in that regard, that we are directly in the same area with all of the residents, and that a lot of us, if not all of us, have some sort of newsletter. We have boards, we have a lot of avenues that we can get to the residents. I did talk about our tenant committee and that we have a board member who has really good contact with a lot of the apartment residents. So that was my big thing, is trying to get that information. So everybody would know about it, because there's a lot of good resources out there, but if you don't know about them, then they're not that helpful. The other thing I forgot to put on here was I did meet with Sean McInnes last week per his annual village rounds with each of the village managers. It was a very good discussion. It was a very honest discussion. I did let him know that often the question is, where does the villages, they say that they need more funding. Well, where do you need more funding? I said, see, that's a tricky question, because we are supposed to create a budget based on the funding we receive. So we can't actually show where we might fall short, but that budget is also contingent upon things like having a good special events year. Sometimes it's good on a good rental year. And I said, so the ability to have a more funding where we could certainly do more projects. We could certainly do some upgrades to the building. There's a variety of things that we could put in place, but of course we have to create our budget based on the money we know we're getting. The other thing I told him was that I felt that they keep on talking about each of the venues, the neighborhood centers, as assets and great assets, and they want to utilize them. I said, but with everything that we do, renting out our facility is great, and we love to rent our facilities out, but that also comes with some wear and tear. And then that's a lot of the internal wear and tear is contingent upon the villages to fix and replace and keep up to date. And I said, so if you really wanted to help the villages and really wanted to perhaps increase the possibility of more rentals, have a continual rotating calendar of how you have indoor painting, replacing chairs, replacing a lot of things that are big ticket items that we depend on having excess funds at the end of our fiscal year, just at a chance, in order to replace. So it was a very honest conversation. It was a good conversation. I think I was the first village that he met with. And then next, I have lots of fun meetings. Next 2 weeks from now, Ellen and I will be meeting with Josh from facilities, but also a new person that they've hired named Fred Cartwright, who is specifically looking at the villages and capital projects, so larger projects. So I'm creating my list of things that I would like done, and we're gonna go from there. So sorry those two things weren't on there, kind of slipped my mind.
No, that's a good update.
But I think that's everything I have.
Okay. Thank you. Any other observations, questions for Brigida? No, okay, thank you, Brigida. Committee reports, architecture committee report. Andrew, you have anything?
Oh, yeah, I guess one application had caused some controversy with one of their neighbors. It started last month, and then we kind of resolved it at the first meeting of this month. And the application, they'd actually done the work first and then applied for it later, which does happen occasionally. And it was just replacing kind of their old deck, or an old patio rather, with a new patio that was slightly bigger than the old patio, except the neighbors said that the water runoff was much worse than it had been before, which was both damaging their lawn and possibly like wearing away the mulch around their tree. And they were worried that their tree was going to fall on their house because there was more water runoff.
Your tree never
which-
falls on your house, it falls on your neighbor's house.
Yeah, the weird thing was that the person who got the new patio done, when they got it done, they had asked the contractor to make sure they paid attention to water flow. And so the contractor had like drawn up diagrams showing that the water flow would be no worse than it had been previously, and they even installed French drains. But the neighbors, they said, no, that's wrong, and they said each side claimed they had videos of like, one said the water flow is worse in this video, and then the person who actually did the work had a video of their own showing that the water flow is better than it was before. And so we ended up just approving the application. Both the RAC and myself agreed that, you know, it was a reasonable, you know, work to do. So that's how we ended it. So yeah. But that was the only interesting issue of the last.
Fun
13
times.
Thank you, Andrew. Open space, that's me. The Open Space Advisory Committee will have a meeting October 15th. And what we'll be focusing on, and this will be the first of several meetings, focus on all of open space in Oakland Mills. How can we enhance it to get more people using it more often? How can we increase the lien payers' return on investment? That's the basic focus of it, so that we want to reevaluate all of it. What works, what could be improved, how will we improve it, et cetera. So we'll begin that process October 15th, and it'll mirror to a certain extent the process that we used a couple years ago with CA, when CA wanted to reimagine their play areas, which used to be called tot lots, now we're called equipment play areas. So that's what we'll be doing. And then public space,
I don't
Daniel?
have too much of an update at this point in time, still figuring out the situation with getting a crosswalk put in across 108. As we mentioned the last time, I reached out to them and I haven't heard a response yet, so when I get something back, I'll.
Did you call the county?
I sent them an email, but I have to find a way.
Vicky's on the phone.
Give her a call. I'll get her later for that.
I thought they did something at that intersection. Wasn't a light? It wasn't a crosswalk?
There is a light. I think they want a crosswalk there because then CA wants to connect existing trails to that point.
Yeah, but I thought they got something done, or they were supposed to be, like, they
Haven't seen
officially
anything.
were.
I now work a little place on 108. I haven't seen anything recently because I just drive by the every
There's
day
no
now.
crosswalk
So.
here. I thought Warren said they did something.
They're in the process there of doing it, but it was more like we need a confirmation of that actually work getting started, and then, because we talked about there was budget funding to try and get the trail to connect
Yep.
to it. So it just sort of has to be a one and then the other situation, so I put things off and it just needs to get done.
I wonder if it was the sidewalks, Amy. So they redid the sidewalks all
Oh,
along
okay.
108.
Yeah, they did it
couple
on like
months
the
ago.
business side.
Yeah.
of it. So, and there was talk, people want like a walking path on the not business side.
Right,
like on the
that's-
residential side where there's like a big grass strip, there's like a pipe buried under
Yeah.
there.
Those are gas lines, yeah.
Yeah, so. I mean, they drive, whatchamacallits all over all the time. They have like mowing equipment, so I'm sure people could walk on it, but I'm not an agricultural engineer or something, so. But that's all I got, so.
Okay, and Paulette's not here tonight for any update on tenant committee. We'll go to board bulletin board before we get into the board closed session. So board bulletin board, Jonathan, do you have anything for board bulletin board?
Yeah, there's something I want to try to find time to look into. Well, I won't go into names, but I was talking to one of our local business owners, and it sounds like we have other situations out there similar to, you know, my understanding of the situation that the Second Chance was in after they were almost forced to close the first time, where it sounds like some of the commercial real estate owners in our village center are basically making the businesses renting the space, you know, not only maintain, you know, things that are I guess relevant to the business on the interior of the space, but really do the, you know, the maintenance and major upgrades to the exterior and what I would call the infrastructure of the space. And we have one business owner who's, you know, seriously questioning whether they can stay as a result of that. You know, I don't know if there's anything that can be done. I don't know if there's, you know, anything like legislatively, like bill the equivalent of the bad landlord bill, but for commercial properties. But it's something that has come up in the village center in the past, and it seems to be coming up again. And I think as these buildings age, it's just going to be a problem, because the businesses in our village center, for the most part, do not own the property where they're doing business, but they're basically, it sounds like, being told that if they want to stay in business, they need to take on the responsibility of the owner for the structure of the building, as well as for running their business within the building.
I think their rent would cover that.
And if someone's saying something, I've lost the sound again. Hang on.
Oh, that's me mumbling.
We
You
were,
were all
Oh, okay.
mumbling.
Okay.
I don't suppose you can tell us which business or building in question you've been speaking about? I don't know. if you can.
I'll tell you when I'm back. I don't know if they want I don't know if this is something they want broadcast publicly.
Understood.
And so Jonathan, would you be looking at the board exploring possible involvement on our part in some way?
Possibly, I want to look more into this, and also maybe learn more about, whether in Howard County, we already have anything on the books that prevents this, or at least limits it. Because like I said, it is a concern. So years ago, we nearly lost one business until they apparently entered into what turned out to be not such a great deal to basically maintain a building they didn't own. And now it sounds like we have another situation similar to that.
Yeah, because this is what I was mumbling about, because there's definitely things that protect like residential renters. I know from like looking at our renters agreements that we've had, there's certain things with the structure that the county and maybe the federal government to protect that from the renter having to be responsible for. So I don't know if they have anything that kind of crosses over to commercial when it comes to
Right.
that.
I mean, it's picture this as the equivalent if you were a residential renter. Imagine the complex you're renting from, saying, oh, the windows are old. You replace the windows. The air conditioning unit has broken. You replace the air conditioning unit if you want it to be cooler inside. That's the equivalent that I'm hearing about on the commercial side.
Hey, Jonathan, have they looked at their legal agreements? Like, what does their lease say about that? Because they've signed a lease, and I'm assuming they've signed a multi-year lease. I would think that's
That's a good question. I don't know. And I don't know, whether they have their own counsel to help them with that. And the other, little wild card in all this is the ownership of the property has changed.
Oh, it's not the Kleins anymore.
Oh, no, this is, well,
Not everything's
I'll tell y'all more when I get back.
Okay, never mind. I'm sorry I asked.
Yep.
Jonathan's trying to be
Well, that
discreet,
tells us
not.
what it's not.
There are multiple owners around in the village center. I think it's
Gotcha.
12 or 13 different owners of the property called the Oak Mills Village Center.
Sorry, Jonathan.
Well, Jonathan, follow up on that and bring us, that would be good if you check with the tenant about the legal agreement that they've got and see what repairs are, whose responsibility they are. And it might be something that we would ask maybe Brigida to check with the county on if there are constraints within the county on that, or whether it's simply commercial is simply between the tenant and the owner.
Right. I mean, there are a lot of questions going through my head. For example, if it is in that lease agreement, and it's all legal right now, is this something where we might need the county to get involved to, perhaps strengthen the rights of those leasing commercial properties, or is this something that's happening, and fear of losing the business, leads to not exercising the rights you already have, or not knowing about the rights you already have. I have a lot of questions after, kind of going through that strange experience with Second Chance before I was on the board, and hearing how that worked out, and now hearing that there's kind of something similar happening again.
Well, keep us up to date on that, please, okay, when you get back. Okay, Jonathan, okay, Andrew, anything for bulletin board?
No.
Dan? Karen?
Nope.
Not me?
I have three things. One, I forgot to mention that I still am accepting donations for, until October 15th.
Request for donation?
Yes.
Request.
I'm still, I'm
You're
accepting.
requesting donations, and I'm good thinking, well,
Right, right to me, but.
I mean, I think that is the smart way to go about it.
I gotta check our bylaws. Let me check our bylaws.
Requests for donations are being accepted until October 15th. And I wanted to thank Andrew. I know that you have been super busy with tons of applications and then with NRAC. And you have answered everything, and I know it's been between you and Carrie and you and Mike, but I really appreciate it, and it's really been helpful and great for them. We've started some new communication processes in-house between me and then the three of them, so that will also allow all of us to kind of have that knowledge internally to be able to give it out when a resident calls or something. But I really wanted to thank you for everything, all of your feedback, everything.
Sure, my pleasure.
And then I wanted to thank Amy, who's been working like crazy with this festival, and I'm excited, and I just think she's done a fabulous job with everything, and her persistence, and she's just taken ownership and ran with it, so I am really, really excited for the day.
You
So
mean like when I'm a skip tracer with the vendors trying to get them back?
yeah, I just want to thank you because you've done a really, really great job. I really appreciate it. So I'm excited.
And Amy, bulletin
Well,
board?
just one thing, because it's kind of dropped off probably everybody's radar, but I have mostly finished the new website that I've been working on for a while. I just have, it's Wix again, and so I have to work on the mobile part of the website to get that, but with the fall festival coming up, I have to wait until after the festival, and then we'll probably present it to you, but it's there. It exists, I've been working on it.
Fantastic, excellent. Now, what we've got before we adjourn is the board's gonna go into a closed session. And what we have to do, first of all, is vote to go into closed session, and we would have to clear the room of,
Once you vote, yeah.
right, to go to closed session, everybody would have to leave. Okay, so we have a board closed session to cover a consultation with staff personnel, consultants, attorneys, or other persons in connection with pending or potential litigation. And do I have a motion to go into closed session? Okay, I have a motion from Andrew. And a second, Dan, okay. And a vote to go into closed session. All in favor? Okay, 4-0-0. So Jonathan's yes, Bill is yes, Andrew's yes, Paulette is absent, and Dan is here. So we will go into closed session.